Robert William Pickton, a full essay on the life of a Canadian serial killer. Robert William Pickton, also known as the Pig Farmer Killer, is one of the most notorious serial killers in Canadian history. Born in British Columbia, Pickton's name became synonymous with horror following the revelation that he had lured, murdered, and disposed of dozens of women over a span of decades. His crimes shocked the nation and drew attention to systemic failures in law enforcement, particularly in relation to marginalized women. This video explores the life, crimes, trial, and the lasting legacy of Robert Pickton. Robert William Pickton was born on October 24, 1949, in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. He was raised on a pig farm alongside his brother David and sister Linda. Their family life was deeply dysfunctional. Pickton's mother, Louise, was known to be domineering and abnormal, often insisting the children to work on the farm. Pickton struggled academically and socially, reportedly having a low IQ and facing significant developmental challenges. After dropping out of school, he continued working on the family pig farm, which became increasingly isolated and grimy over time. His connection to the farm would later become a bizarre element of his crimes. In the 1990s, Robert and David Pickton turned their farm into a quasi-business and party venue, called the Piggy Palace Good Time Society. Under the mask of charity events and biker parties, the farm became a gathering place for sex workers, drug users, and members of Vancouver's underworld. The isolation of the farm, combined with Pickton's access to vulnerable individuals from the downtown east side, made it a chilling hunting ground. During this time, many women from Vancouver's downtown east side, one of Canada's most impoverished and troubled neighborhoods, began disappearing. Most were sex workers and drug users, and many came from Indigenous backgrounds. Despite community concern, police response was tepid at best, a fact that would later lead to public outrage. On February 6, 2002, police executed a search warrant on the Pickton farm for illegal firearms. What began as a weapons investigation quickly turned into a horrible discovery. Human remains and personal items belonging to missing women were found across the property. A thorough legal investigation ensued, one of the most complex and expensive in Canadian history. DNA evidence and personal belongings of at least 33 women were eventually found on the property. Police suspected Pickton of murdering up to 49 women, although he once claimed to an undercover officer that he had killed 50, but lost count. The sheer horror of the details, body parts stored in freezers, remains ground up and possibly mixed with pig meat, captivated and horrified the public and media. Robert Pickton was arrested in 2002 and initially charged with 27 counts of first-degree murder. In 2007, he was tried on 6 of those counts, in a highly publicized and emotionally charged trial. The prosecution opted to try him on the 6 strongest cases first to ensure a solid conviction. On December 9, 2007, Pickton was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years, the maximum sentence under Canadian law at the time. In 2010, the remaining 20 charges were stayed by the Crown, citing the length and cost of a second trial, and the fact that Pickton would remain imprisoned for life regardless. Robert William Pickton died on May 30, 2024, after being attacked in prison. He was assaulted by another inmate at Port Cartier Institution, a maximum security prison in Quebec, Canada, on May 19, 2024. He sustained serious injuries during the attack and was hospitalized in critical condition. After being in a coma for several days, he succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the age of 74. The Correctional Service of Canada confirmed his death but did not immediately release detailed information about the assailant. However, media reports identified the attacker as another inmate with a violent history. Pickton's death sparked mixed reactions across Canada. Some expressed relief that he was no longer alive, while others were frustrated that he died before facing further justice or revealing more about the full extent of his crimes. The Pickton case revealed deep institutional failings. Authorities were criticized for not taking earlier reports of missing women seriously, especially those from the sex trade. Indigenous and advocacy groups condemned the systemic bias and neglect. Families of victims and advocacy organizations pointed to a culture of indifference toward women who were poor, addicted, or indigenous. In 2010, the Missing Women Commission of Inquiry was launched, led by Justice Wally Oppal. The final report in 2012 was scathing, highlighting police incompetence and systemic discrimination, and offering 63 recommendations for change. The legacy of Robert Pickton's crimes extends beyond the gruesome details. His case became a watershed moment for awareness of violence against marginalized women in Canada. Canadian police departments, especially in British Columbia, have since undergone training and reform related to missing persons investigations and the treatment of sex workers. The case became part of a broader dialogue about the national tragedy of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, MEUG, in Canada. It helped spark nationwide demands for justice and systemic reform. The case has also inspired numerous books, documentaries, and television programs. Some notable works include On the Farm by Stevie Cameron, an in-depth account of the investigation. CBC and Netflix documentaries examining systemic failures. Fictional and non-fictional treatments of the story in popular culture. Robert William Pickton's life is a haunting testament to how depravity can flourish amid societal neglect. His crimes went unnoticed for years, largely because his victims lived on the fringes of society, ignored by systems that were supposed to protect them. While Pickton now spends the rest of his life behind bars, his case left an enduring legacy, prompting vital conversations about social justice, police accountability, and the value of every human life, regardless of background or circumstance. We hope you have found the video interesting. Thank you.